Are you living with pain? Putting off treatment? At North Shore University Health System's Orthopedic and Spine Institute, we're committed to caring for you safely. Online, on the phone, or in person, practicing the latest safety protocols. As Illinois' only hospital dedicated to patients with neck, back, and joint issues, we work together with one goal. Your goal. Living your life pain-free. So don't delay. Get the care you need now. Visit northshore.org/ortho.
Hey, this is Mike Evans. Listen to every episode of Schlereth and Evans on demand at 1043thefan.com. Presented by Siltahara Motors, the home of the zero down with Chapter 7 and 13 bankruptcies. Regardless of your financial standing, no one should be without a vehicle. Visit the special financing section at sthmotors.com.
Sports Radio 1043 The Fan presents Schlereth and Evans.
Today.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
It was hot yesterday, too.
It was hot yesterday.
Hot. But not like Batwing hot, right? Like today the Broncos start off their mini camp. It'll be warm. It'll be toasty. It'll be hot, but it won't be like Batwing Gold Bond game, right?
It really didn't get like oven hot until yesterday afternoon, like at 3 or 4 o'clock. That's one thing about Denver. I was outside all day yesterday, just putzing around, doing little projects, replacing some pool tiles, doing some work in some spots in my yard that I'm just not happy with. I had to have a talking with them. Spread some seed, cord. I did an aeration cord out a couple of spots that were really low and dry and not, really not accepting water. Probably too hot to do it, but I'm just like, hey, I don't want to hear about the excuses.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to, hey, lawn.
Just show me the baby.
Right. Don't play the victim here.
Right.
Oh, it's hot. I can't even do it. No, I don't want to hear it. Get your stuff done. So.
When I saw the Broncos schedule, it's funny how the influence you've had on me.
Uh-huh.
Because like when the Broncos schedule first came out, everyone was like, well, okay, you're going on the road for, 3 first games of the season. They're all winnable games. My first thought was, New York in September. I've been to New York City in September.
Yeah.
Hot, humid.
Yeah, we can.
Then Jacksonville, week 2.
Oh, that's the
And my
worst.
first thought was, that is a Batwing game.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 Batwing game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no
That's
question.
a gold bond game.
Oh, that is going to be miserable hot. Ugh.
Just sticky. Yeah, sticky.
Sticky. Hated those.
Did you hate going down to
hate
Florida?
it. Even worse than going down in September. Then this is going to surprise you. At least you're used to the heat. The worst is when you put on a winter layer and you go in December.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's way worse because you put on the winter layer. You're used to it cold and you're just used to 45 or 40 and you're practicing in it. You get some cold weather. You just kind of get a little layer of chub on. It's kind of like me right after the season, right? Right after the season, man, I'll put on 20 pounds, 2 days. Like, oh, sorry. So anyhow, it's just, that's December is even worse because you're not in shape anymore.
Yeah, but at that point, though, you've been dealing with winter, and you're probably, ready to get into some nice warm weather. Your joints, you warm up easier.
No, well,
you get loose quicker.
Right, but you're talking about the little dudes, They're going there on vacation, right? They're like, hey.
The wide receivers?
Yeah, let me put on a pair of shorts and hang out by the pool.
Right.
Right. Not the fat guys.
No.
The fat guys.
You didn't go near the pool?
No. And if you did, you had your t-shirt on. You went in like you were a kid, like you were afraid to be burnt because you had some rolls going, You didn't go in there without a shirt on. You don't want to frighten the general public.
That's true. There might be children there on winter break.
Your world frightens and confuses.
So, yeah. So you're right. So it's actually better, in my estimation, to go early when you're used to the heat.
Yeah, but that's a whole different kind of heat, though.
No,
I'll
give that to you.
That's a different kind of heat.
It's the kind of heat that just drains you.
I've seen, and you're not yet in full football shape. So I for everyone who says, oh, what, those are such winnable games. I'm like, I don't know. Are you ready to go down there and play in that kind of conditions?
No. Nope.
So, it'll be hot today, though. I'm sure it'll be deemed too hot, and they'll move stuff indoors. Let's go inside. Where it's climate controlled.
I hope not.
No,
I hope
won't.
they just torture him. Yeah, you should be like it.
Yeah, mini camp. That's what I think of when I think of NFL mini camps. Let's really work these guys hard.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it. It's different.
Dan Graziano of ESPN is going to be joining us coming up here in about 10 minutes. He was the one yesterday that had the report about how NFL owners are rooting for the Packers not to trade Aaron Rodgers.
Now that's right.
Because they don't want the NFL to become like the NBA, where the stars
dictate.
Did
he also break the complicated stuff? Mark Murphy? Oh no, that was just Mark.
That was just Mark Murphy doing that all by himself.
Yeah, just the brass of the Packers, creating a nice, soft, cushy landing for Packer fans.
Are we too far down the Aaron Rodgers road for it not to happen? Meaning, meaning if it doesn't happen, are we so far down the road with this that the idea of it being Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock just is unacceptable? Just unacceptable.
I just think we're too far down the road I was looking at Adam Shine, who does a national, radio show on Sirius or whatever, going, for the love of Pete, just trade him already, right? It's over. You might as well get maximum value for him now. And I keep thinking, I'm interested to get Dan's perspective. I just keep thinking the longer you wait, the less value he has. I mean, if you wait until, what are you waiting for? Well, like you're saying, you want to make up, you want to kiss and make up. At the same time, you're saying, well, he's a complicated fella. He's a real pain in the ass. I mean, what are you doing?
The only thing I can think of is that it's just giving themselves another month just to build the case for their fans and make him into the bad guy. Hey, we wanted to make it work out. We wanted a reconciliation.
I completely.
It was him. It was him. Him.
Rupert Holmes. What you gonna do about him?
Benny Moore Yacht Rock right there.
Yeah, Rupert Holmes, baby. That was after the Pina Colada song.
Stalwart of Yacht Rock.
Yeah, and then he went into kids music. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he went into writing kids music and doing all. He had an epiphany and didn't like what he was doing.
So he went from the Pina Colada song to the Kool-Aid song or something like that?
Yeah, he wrote kids music and performed kids music.
Right. Like the Wiggles.
I like to eat apples and potatoes, or whatever it was. Apples and bananas.
This is so iconic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on.
This is Yacht Rock right here.
Yeah. I was tired of my lady. Here's the thing about this song.
Okay.
All right. So
tell me about the song.
Okay. So
with it.
You write a personal, you write to the personal columns or whatever that, right? To find yourself a new lady.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And somebody answers you.
Right.
And you're like, all right, I'm going to go meet this lady.
Right.
On the down low, on the slide.
Yeah.
And then it happens to be your gal who's not satisfied with you either.
Right.
And then you got I think more appropriate was you cheating,
Yeah, right. Both of you.
Both, yeah.
And then instead they're both like, oh, it's you.
Oh, isn't that cute? We both hate each other. And somehow love works.
Exactly.
Solved it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That'd probably lead me to children's music as well.
Yeah.
Dan Graziano joins us next.
Hey, it's Mike Evans. Siltahar Motors is the home of Zero Down. Regardless of your credit or financial situation, Siltahar Motors will help you get behind the wheel. People with poor credit or in bankruptcy can qualify for Zero Down and no payments for 45 days and be driving in their new car within hours of stopping by the dealership. Check out any of the cars Siltahar Motors currently has on site at sthmotors.com. Siltahar Motors is conveniently located at Highway 36 in Wadsworth, so regardless of your financial situation, Siltahar Motors will get you the car you deserve at sthmotors.com.
Dan Graziano is a NFL ESPN insider. He's a published novelist. And most importantly, he's an FOS, a friend of Stink.
Yes.
He joins us now. Good morning, Dan.
Dan, hey, Dan, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. So lay it on us. When is Aaron Rodgers getting traded to the Broncos? I mean, come on. Can we get this done already, for crying out loud?
If you talk to the Packers, the answer's never. They say, we don't want to trade him. So, I think, when does it get to a breaking point for them, right? When do they get convinced that he really never wants to play for them again? And if that happens, do they decide to play hardball and tell him, okay, go ahead and retire and we'll get all the money back? Or do they decide to trade him to get to get rid of the mess? Those are the two possibilities. In terms of timetable, I think we got to wait a little while. I mean, unless something is going to happen between now and training camp to convince them of that and be sure of it, I think they're planning to wait him out.
You know, it's just interesting the way they're handling it because, Mark Murphy comes out and says he's a complicated fella and, it always just seems like they're almost creating this soft landing for when they do trade him for the fan base to make it his fault, and, Aaron didn't want to be here type of thing. And, which, I'm sure there's some truth to that. But I keep thinking the longer you wait, the less value Aaron Rodgers has because rosters are set, people have practiced, money is gone, all that kind of stuff. Is there any truth to that? The longer they wait, the less value he is in a trade?
I don't think that the Packers are worried about his trade value waning. And that means, even if they wait till October or even if they wait till next offseason, I think they feel like there's going to be a high level of interest in this, in the reigning MVP quarterback. You could make the case that waiting until next offseason makes more sense because maybe now you have more teams in it, right? I mean, there are a lot of teams that are kind of set at the position, may not play on this, that might be customers for you after you get to another season, right? And maybe you didn't find out what you wanted to find out about Daniel Jones in New York, right? Or Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, those kinds of things. So your market might be a little broader if you do wait than if you rush it through now. Because right now, I mean, people say it's Denver, maybe the Raiders. I don't know if Miami jumps in on that, but I mean, it's not. It might not be as robust a market. So I don't think they're worried about that. I think if they were to deal him, it would be because they just wanted the whole thing to be over with. And I just don't get the sense they're at that stage just yet.
Busy with our NFL insider from ESPN, Dan Graziano. Dan, we were very interested. We talked at length yesterday about your report on ESPN Get Up about NFL owners rooting for the Packers not to trade Rodgers because they do not want the NFL to somehow turn into the NBA. Can you expand on that a little bit more? And is it to the point where NFL owners are putting pressure on the Packers?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think Mark Murphy's certainly on enough of the committees and high up enough in the ranks of the owners that that operate at these meetings that they have and all that he knows how others feel. Look, I think. You could get all. I'm sure you guys did discuss, how likely it is that could happen, right? The NBA-ization of the NFL in terms of players controlling where they go, and I think it would probably be hard to replicate in the NFL because so many more guys on the roster, so many more guys on the field, et cetera. But I think it's all about control in these situations. Almost every big picture story on the NFL that we do, CBA negotiations, whatever. It's all about control and one side wanting to keep it and one side wanting to get more of it. And I think you've seen in recent years these star players exercise a level of power that either previous generations of players didn't have or didn't know they had. And I think that is alarming to NFL team owners who are used to having the control over the situation, operating in a system that clearly favors the teams in terms of the economic structure of the league and all that. And when you see guys like Jalen Ramsey, Jadeveon Clowney, kind of dig in their heels and say, I'm not going to play for you anymore, and then get what they want in terms of a trade. I think that does sort of set off alarm bells for some NFL owners. I think they're a ways away from being at the level that the NBA is on that, and they probably would never get there. But, again, people have power and people have control. They don't like to let much of it go.
Talk a little bit about the Denver Broncos and their quarterback situation right now as you learn and as you read it and you kind of look at the situation. Where are they, do you think, with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater? And in your estimation, who ends up winning that camp battle if it's truly a 50-50 battle?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because, you have two different cases, right? You have Lock, who has the upside, who's the second-round pick from a couple of years ago. They think highly of what he can accomplish, but they fear, the trouble he can cause if he remains inconsistent, if turnovers are a problem, et cetera. So you bring in Teddy Bridgewater, who you know exactly what he is, right? Pat Shermer's worked with him before. He's steady, right? And he's going to play it safe. He's not going to turn the ball over. So if he plays, I think that tells you that they're just not convinced they can weather the risk that Locke brings, that Locke didn't convince them in camp that he has done enough to overcome his inconsistencies and the potential for turning the ball over. If Locke starts, then that tells you that he did convince them of that they're going to give him a chance, that whatever they saw in camp tells them that whatever problems he's had in terms of consistency are at least partially behind him, and they want to go with the potential here. Because, look, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is not going to air it out and stretch the field the way Drew Lock at his best can. And I think, obviously, their ideal situation would be Lock takes a step forward, that Bridgewater helps him by either pushing him and or mentoring him in some way, and that they move forward with him. But if they're not convinced, it's almost like the Bears last year, right? They brought in Foles, and they ended up starting the season with Trubisky. They felt like Trubisky won the competition in camp, but then a couple of games in, they were like, no, this is the same old Trubisky. We got to go to Foles. You don't want to be in a situation like that. You'd like to get to the end of camp knowing for sure what your best option is. And I think if Bridgewater emerges as the starter, that tells you where they are on Lock, and it's not necessarily good.
All right, Dan, man, we really appreciate you, buddy. Thanks so much for hopping on.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Dan Graziano, and you can follow him on Twitter at Dan Graziano ESPN. Got the Morning Brew coming up next. All right, Avalanche fans, were you able to allow yourself to tune in and watch any of the Vegas-Montreal Game 1?
Oh.
And let's talk up Austin Gomber. Hey, maybe Jeff Bridich knew what he was doing? That's next.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's time for your Morning Brew.
Things are gonna get weird.
You're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna drop thunder.
Okay, this guy needs coffee and crullers stat.
You know what can really help you sort through these important issues?
What?
Orange mocha frappuccino.
Damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet.
Let's get it on.
Not really. I think it's too early to come to any conclusions one way or the other. Even a small conclusion. Mike and Pat will work with them on that stuff, and I'm not worried about it at this point.
As the Broncos get set for their mandatory minicamp, different from an OTA. I don't know exactly how, but okay.
It's mandatory.
It's mandatory.
OTAs
and it's a minicamp.
aren't.
All right.
Right.
Simple as that. All right.
Yeah.
As they get started up again today, Vic Fangio says that they haven't reached any conclusion when it comes to the quarterback. Why do I get the feeling that the people who've been out there, the assembled media, have already made up their mind and have already reached that conclusion, that it's Bridgewater's job to lose?
Because I think when you look at, you read the tea leaves, the way the defense is built, the back end, the secondary, all the things that they have done, you're looking at it like, hey, we're good enough on the defensive side of the ball to compete. We've actually played Mahomes in our division pretty well. If we don't turn the ball over and we're efficient on offense, we got a chance to be in a lot of ball games. I think that's the way they look at it. And, Drew Lock wasn't efficient and inaccurate and turned the ball over a bunch. I mean, I think that's fair, right?
I just think that Bridgewater's one of those guys that
He's veteran savvy enough. He knows how the rhythm of practice and camp goes, especially if it's scripted. So veterans, you've always talked about this, how veterans have an advantage because they can come out and they know what to expect, and they can almost kind of rig the system a little bit by looking good in practice because they've been through it. They know what's expected. They know that they just
have a better understanding of football. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Is it as simple as that, or does a veteran have more of an advantage because they know? They know they've been through it long enough to know what the coaches are looking for.
Well, sure. I mean, there's that part of it, but Drew Lock's been around enough to know what the coaches are looking at. You're looking for efficiency. You're looking for the right. You're looking, go to the right guy, get the ball out of your hand quickly, do the things that you're asked to do, and part of that just comes with experience. Understanding that, and to do that, especially to do it in the kind of unscripted moments. And I think that's really what you look at, because there are guys, and I was around guys, and I used to say it to guys all the time, they'd be in their locker studying with the script, like the plays we're going to run.
Right.
And I'd slap it out of their hand. I go, they don't give that to you in the games, man. Don't play that game. So when all of a sudden you can look really good in practice because you've memorized what's coming your way.
Right.
When all of a sudden you go, hey, 11 on 11 team, and there is no script, the coaches are calling plays, that's when the separation usually occurs.
Excuse me.
Oh, are you all right?
I got all choked up. I'm telling you, this quarterback talk, it's emotional for me.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm joking.
It's emotional. Next on the Morning Brew.
Looking to throw here, and there's the first sack of the season for the Denver defense. Finally, it's Von Miller.
I was just joking, kinda.
All right, so Vaughn held his pass rushing summit over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Marcus Ware was there. Malik Reed was there. Other pass rushers from around the league. And Vaughn, when asked about the Broncos quarterback situation, said, quote, if you get too emotionally involved in these guys, trading for Aaron Rodgers, and then it doesn't happen, now you got Locke over here looking like, what about now? So you don't want to get too emotionally attached to the rumors. You start thinking, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson, but hold on, wait a minute. We've got Drew Lock. That's who we're running with. Apparently Vaughn is a Drew guy.
I was just joking, kinda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
What do you think the guys on the defense want?
Your head is so big.
I think the guys on the defense want a guy that can keep the chains moving, that play with some efficiency, and allow them to play the game they want to play, right? Be aggressive. Ultimately, I think it's Teddy Bridgewater. Who gives us the best chance to score 24 a game?
Teddy Bridgewater, and without making mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's
without, we just made a stand. We walk off the field, and then, 6 plays later, we're back out there again, right? Because you just turned it over
without giving us a short field to defend and all those kind of things. I think it's obviously, to me, it would obviously be Teddy Bridgewater.
Right now, yeah, you're right. That's what Drew Lock is facing and up against and having to overcome. Next on the Morning Brew.
Fly ball deep right. He doesn't see it. He lost it. Dick job. Doesn't matter. It's gone. 2-0 Colorado.
Hey, like we said, Rockies come back home. They're a completely different team. You get a beautiful night like last night. You see the appeal. Going out to Coors Field. So much for fan boycotts, right?
Yeah.
So the Rockies win 3-2. Austin Gomber, the centerpiece of the Nolan Arenado trade that everybody hated. Give Gomber credit. Guy's been pitching lights out of late. In fact, at Coors Field, he is currently on a streak where he has thrown over 21 consecutive scoreless innings. Actually, I think it's over 23. And it's the second longest scoreless streak for a Rockies pitcher in Coors Field history. Trivia question.
Okay.
Take this out to the bar stool with you. You'll probably win on this one. Who holds the number one spot right now for most consecutive scoreless innings by a Rockies pitcher at Coors Field?
And it's not Gomber.
And it's not Gomber. He's second on the list right now.
Jason Jennings.
Nope, he's on that list like third or fourth.
Pistachio.
He's on that list further down, like around 8 or 9.
Okay. Would it be Ubaldo?
You're not going to get it.
It's not Ubaldo?
Nope.
Aaron Cook.
Nope. Jeff Francis. Nope. Elise Chassin. Nope. Jason Hamill. 2010.
Really?
Yeah, I was watching the broadcast last night. So
Jason Hamill.
Nice stat.
That is a nice stat.
So go, Chase. So Austin Gomber.
Gamba.
Making us all forget about Nolan Arenado.
That's right. The good thing is you took him out in the 8th.
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm trying to support Bud Black, but come on. Guy was absolutely dealing. He's throwing knuckle curveballs for strikes in the 8th inning.
Hello, darkness.
Yeah, by the way.
And Bud takes him out, and then Daniel Bard comes on for a edge of your seat save.
Yeah, it would. Like, he's got a 4-pitch mix that he has got the Padres just having no clue what's coming. No chance. 95 pitches in. Let's go to the closer.
Yeah. 8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks. 95 pitches. Oh, gotta pull them out. Heaven forbid we have a pitcher actually throw a complete game. That's what we have closers for.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, buddy. Come on. Next on the Morning Brew.
Donaldson right corner. Spins off a check. That elbow from Weber came up high. Holden again. Shoots. Score! Nick Holden with 2 goals in as many games. Vegas has a 3-goal lead.
No! God, please, no!
Oh, man. I allowed myself to watch the first period of that Vegas game last night.
Did you now?
And they just came out. And I always thought Montreal was living a lie. You know, they got to play 2 real underachieving teams in Toronto and Winnipeg. Now they run up against a big boy team, and Vegas smacks them down. Game 1. It's going to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. And it was just a painful reminder that if the Avalanche had just been able to handle up on their business against Vegas, they would have cruised past Montreal. I'm telling you, they would have cruised into the Stanley Cup Finals.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, boy.
What's the right word? Solace? Is that the right word?
No. It hurt more.
It hurt you say,
more.
because you got beat by a better team. So, like, if Vegas ends up winning... If Vegas ends up winning the Stanley Cup, you're like, well, at least we got bounced by the best team in the league, Stanley Cup champions.
I suppose there's a little bit of that. I've never really subscribed to that. Maybe if Vegas wins it all, that's the way I'll ultimately feel. But all I felt last night was a feeling of, oh my God, Montreal would have been a layup.
Why do you do that to yourself?
I don't know. They would have just breezed into the Stanley Cup Finals. Painful. Okay, that'll do it for the Morning Brew. Bring that to you each and every morning at 6:30. Our 9 News Bronco insider Mike Kliss joins us coming up next. Mike Kliss is our 9 News Broncos insider, presented by Bet Rivers Sportsbook, and he joins us now. Michael, good morning.
What's going on, guys?
We're looking for clarification. What's the difference between the OTAs and the mandatory minicamp, other than the mandatory word? Anything really different?
Yeah, for Melvin Gordon, it's $93,000 worth of fines that he's avoiding. Otherwise, I think practices are a little longer, meetings are a little longer. So those are the basic differences. You can have them in the building longer for various things. And then you get an extra, it looks like about an extra half hour of practice time also.
Mike, Vic Fangio says there's no conclusions to draw yet when it comes to Bridgewater versus Locke. And yet, why do I just get this impression that at least through the OTAs, it's Bridgewater's job to lose?
Well, because he's looked better. I mean, we as the media have seen 3 practices, so in many ways, I do agree with him, and I think we're making too much of the evaluation. But yet that's all we got. We see what we're given. And the last two practices, it just looked like Teddy Bridgewater was more in command. He threw the ball a little better, number one. And number two, he has this leadership quality where, he interacts with his teammates. He instructs. You've even heard some of the teammates, some of the receivers talk about how he comes up and helps them out. I don't see that as much from Drew Lock. Drew kind of does the play and goes back. I think everyone on the team likes Drew, and you heard that from Von Miller at the pass rush summit. It's about Drew Lock. He's all in on Drew Lock. So everyone likes Drew, and they're pulling for him to play well. But Drew has made more mistakes, and that's where this team is as it goes into minicamp. Now we'll see. I think there's going to be a couple more days here, Tuesday and Wednesday, of the 11-on-11. And so I do think that this will be important in the evaluation process. But really, guys, the defensive guys, the cornerbacks, the secondary, they're sometimes even on 11-on-11, they're not really competing for the ball. They're there, but it was kind of at 75% speed last week when we saw 11-on-11. Maybe it'll be more full speed these next 2 days. And then when you put the pads on, of course, the speed really goes up, and the closing speed from the defensive backs really goes up. And that's when you'll be able to tell if maybe Drew Lock's arm, which is a considerably better arm, is best.
When you talk about Drew Lock, give me the biggest, two or three of the biggest issues he needs to overcome to really win this competition. What are the three things or so that he struggles with that he needs to be significantly better at if he is going to be, in fact, the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos?
Well, I think number one is accuracy. And there's certain, he's very good zipping the ball between the seams and down the seams. I think he's as good as anybody at that, especially against Gus Bradley's Charger defense. when you're behind by 3 touchdowns, that's where he was at his best. The outside, the perimeter throws, even on the short perimeter throws, he was inconsistent when it comes to accuracy. The deep ball, I think on the deep ball, he tends to line drive it versus, he doesn't have that touch. He's got to work on the touch on the deep ball, especially with on the 50-50, where it should be your guy or no one's, no one's ball if you throw it correctly. And then, I guess just the overall feel and instincts for the game, reading, progressing. On the defense, he gets hot, and then all of a sudden he'll scramble around. There was a play last year. He drove the ball first. I can't remember which game it was. First series of the game, he drove it right down, and then started scrambling around to a left. He started feeling good, and he threw a pick. And it's just that type of thing that really frustrated the team. And it was that type of interception why I think this team went out and got Teddy Bridgewater, because he doesn't make those type of mistakes.
All right, Mike, man, we really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
See you out there this week.
Yeah, enjoy mandatory minicamp.
Stay
you
cool.
Gotta be out there.
Stay cool.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Mike Kliss, our 9 News Bronco Insider. He is presented by Bet Rivers Sportsbook. And as I've gotten a football education from you over the last couple of years, all this talk about Lock's arm and the struggles with the throws, as Mike just laid out, it's all about because he just doesn't have a clear idea of what he's seeing, right? I mean, you always talk about the idea that, take a look at some of these veteran quarterbacks who we don't necessarily think of having big arms, but yet when they throw the ball, it looks like there's some pretty good zip on it. It looks like it is getting to the receiver with plenty of time. There's something about the idea of when you are throwing with anticipation and knowing where to go with the ball, your arm strength is allowed to
come through. But when you're a sight, as you always like to say, a sight thrower, whatever big arm capabilities you have sort of get mitigated.
Well, yes, they do. And I think, like, I just, the more I study, the more I talk to NFL coaches, the more consulting I do with teams, you know, we have these conversations. And I think that the only thing a big arm allows you to do, the only thing it really allows you to do is to be a tick late and, you know, and not create a pick six. But what it does is it creates an incomplete pass, but it's not a pick six. When you don't have a big arm and you're a little bit late, that's a pick six. So I really like anticipation. Timing and anticipation is so much more valuable than arm talent. And, you know, we can go through the Kyle Bolars of the world and Jamarcus Russells of the world. And, I mean, you can go through a bunch of guys who had Jeff Georges of the world, great arm talent Jay Cutler, that didn't really amount to a whole lot in the National Football League. So, yeah, arm talent is what it is. I mean, think about any go route you throw. Like if you're going to throw a deep go route, right? You know where that ball's coming down? Ball's coming down at somewhere between 37 and 46 yards. Like that's where it comes down. It's in this, you know, kind of 8-yard window, if you will. Deep post, maybe that comes down a little, but that's an easy throw because you just throw it out there and let your receiver run to a spot. All those things are just like, to me, it's all about seeing it. You know, we always talk when I talk to coaches, we talk about throwing it with your feet. Meaning your feet have got to be on time for you to be an accurate thrower of the football. And if they're not, if they're sloppy, if you're off with your feet, you're not going to throw it accurately. So that to me is the biggest issue we look at with Drew Lock.
Coming up, there is a word that's always associated with Lock that I don't quite get and understand how he's earned it. That's next. Hey, it's Mike Evans. Siltahar Motors understands sometimes bad things happen to good people. That includes bankruptcy. If that is you can still purchase a car at Siltahar with zero money down in almost all cases. This is a program they've been doing for 25 years. The dealership itself is almost 60. Family-owned business that is proud of their reputation and proud to be a huge part of the Broomfield community. If you file bankruptcy, Siltahar Motors can help. Zero down and no payments for 45 days in almost all cases. Contact Team Zero Down at 720-446-9222 or online at sthmotors.com.